Hi guys, welcome to another session of Leverage TV. I am Tarun. I'm manager with Leverage Edu. Today we'll be talking about which are the top universities in Canada, the best universities according to my opinion. So I think like Canada does not have too many universities actually, so we would be able to cover quite a few of them. I think there are about 60 universities only in Canada. And generally, the top 10 or 20 of their universities end up featuring in the QS top 100 world rankings. And I'll give you guys some quick, facts about each one of them, which might help you guys to choose which one to kind of apply to. Um, so we're probably going to study each university, by looking at the rankings of the QS. That's probably the best way to kind of understand which are the best universities. I do like to look at the QS rankings because I feel that they do give a proper breakup of the ranking of each university, and that there is a bit of clarity, unlike other rankings, which sometimes I find it's a bit ambiguous. So QS usually ranks according to six factors. So those are academic reputation, employer reputation, citations per faculty, faculty-student ratio, proportion of international students, and proportion of international staff. So these are the six factors which generally they rank universities by. And I think that is a fair assessment considering which are the best universities, because the number of international students, it matters. It definitely gives you a good gist of its global reputation and brand, which matters a lot, especially for considering employability. But just before I kind of start the session and I start talking about the universities, I just wanted to clarify that all the universities are actually good, and I think that students should not just consider which university to study at basis rank. I think there are many other factors which one should consider. So you should consider, what is the graduate employability of the university. So what are the graduate prospects, the average salary. You should also consider what kind of life you kind of want to lead, right? Especially in Canada. So you should consider which province you particularly want to study in, basis your chances of getting a PR. You should also consider whether you want to kind of live, in the city, or whether you want to kind of live in campus exposures, because you only get your study abroad experience once. And I think going to the best university isn't necessarily always going to guarantee you success. It does, maybe put your resume slightly higher, in the decks when HR recruitments would look at CVs. But at the same time, the marks that you get in your university time, the percentage which you kind of graduate with, your extracurriculars, your overall personality, all of these things do matter a lot as well. And also, obviously, once you get a job, so it might help you get a job, but then at the end of the day, to kind of do well at a job, you still have to kind of work really, really hard, right? So so like I think students should take it with a bit of a pinch of salt. So the top 10 universities from Canada in the QS world rankings this year for 2020-22. The first one, no surprises, is University of Toronto. I think if anybody has an offer letter or a chance to get into the University of Toronto, they should definitely take it. And it's obviously a very dynamic, multicultural city, and it's obviously ranked top in the country, and it's also ranked 25th in the QS World rankings. So this is definitely something, and I think they are consistently ranked very, very highly. If you talk about employability chances, obviously, if you actually study in a major city, then you will have that much time to kind of interact with employers, and you'll be a lot more connected to the ground, to employers. And hence, I think Toronto, you can't really go wrong with Toronto if you're planning to go to Canada. So the second university which is on the list, so this is ranked 31st on the world rankings list, and second, so it's the second Canadian, the second highest ranked Canadian university. That's McGill University. So McGill, for those who don't know, is actually it's in Montreal, right? So Montreal is also actually one of the better and most friendly student cities actually. So you have obviously McGill, and then you have other universities such as University de Montreal as well. In particular, McGill is known for its very high employability ratio, especially in engineering, where 95% of engineering graduates are employed within 2 years, and 84% of all science graduates are employed within 2 years. Um, so these are some of the quick facts about McGill. Again, Montreal seems to be a great city, but one point which I think people should consider is that it being in Montreal and Montreal being in Quebec, it is somewhat a French-speaking state. So I'm not sure about how the employability is in Quebec. That's something which students should sort of consider. Coming in at number three, we have so the third highest Canadian ranked university this year for 2022, according to QS, is University of British Columbia. Obviously, it's situated in Vancouver, which is a top city, right? People compare it to like the way we kind of look at Mumbai in India. People can consider Vancouver to be of Canada because it's also the port city, and it's a shipping industry, and so there's a lot of it's the logistics hub of the country rather. So there's a lot of business activity actually in that city, and it's also supposed to have a very cool, multicultural, and very chilled out sort of vibe. So they have two main campuses. One is, as I said, in Vancouver, and the other one is in Kelowna. And I hear that they has this second campus actually is situated in a city where there are about 30 beaches and 5 of Canada's largest ski resorts that are located within a few hours. I mean, I thought that was super cool. And then obviously, University of British Columbia has a stellar reputation. It's got 8 Nobel laureates from its alumni, and also they attract the highest number in, I think, research funding of about $600 billion a year. Moving on to number 4, we have University de Montreal. So this is the 4th highest ranked Canadian university, and it's ranked 118 on the QS World Top 200 rankings. So I would think I've already spoken about Montreal being a French-speaking city and state, but it is meant to be one of the leading, most student-friendly cities and a very happening city. So that's again something which students could sort of look forward to exploring. It's also one of the world's leading research universities, according to their website. Coming in at number 5, we have University of Alberta in Edmonton. So this it has a reputation for excellence across a few subjects like humanities, science, creative arts, business, engineering, and health sciences. So there are about 5 campuses apparently in 2 cities in Edmonton and Camrose. It is again a top 5 research university in Canada with 500 plus million in annual research funding, and has about 75 Rhodes Scholars who have graduated from there. It does sound like a great university, but I do think that like location matters a lot when you kind of pick your university. I feel that I was very lucky because I studied not too far from a major city, and that was really good because and the city itself was also quite happening. So I think it's important to consider where you kind of study, and especially when Canada, I think especially because of the provincial nominee schemes and the complex PR structure, I think you need to do a lot of research before you kind of accept your offer into a university. Coming in at number 6 is McMaster. So this is apparently they are ranked second in the world for for university impact rankings by Times Higher Education, and it's basically because why is it ranked second for university impact is because they're totally based. The university is completely based on the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, which I thought was like very cool. It is also home to about 70 research centers and institutes. And the cool thing is where it's actually located. So it's located near Niagara. So it's near the Niagara Falls. So it's close to Toronto and Niagara Falls. The location, exact location is Hamilton, Ontario. And they actually call it the waterfall capital of Canada. How cool, like, to kind of study in a city like this, right? Number 7, we have University of Waterloo. For everybody, I'm sure this is a university that everybody's heard of. So Waterloo is apparently ranked number 1 for employer-student connections. And like I found that it's not just it wasn't just written on their website, but they actually showed proof of it. So they apparently have 7,100 plus active co-op employers on their roster. Hence creating a lot of jobs, right, for students. I think that's really cool. And it's also located in Ontario, not too far from Toronto. I think Ontario is always a great sort of province to kind of target because of its close proximity rather to Toronto, right? I think it's always good to sort of be near the big city, so that when you graduate, when you kind of start looking for a job, you're already familiar. You have already been to Toronto 5, 7, 8, 10 times in your time. You can also go there during the weekends, make friends, etc. So Waterloo is actually known for being number 1 for computer science, mathematics, and engineering. This is according to Maclean's 2021 ranking. So Maclean's, for those who don't know, they're quite popular for ranking Canadian universities. So if anybody wants to ever check it out, they should. Next, we have on number 8, we have ranked Western University, which is also in Ontario. So this is in London. Most students who do end up wanting to study in Canada, they do particularly like to study in Ontario. Because the number of PRs that are usually issued are majorly always issued to people to students who had studied in Ontario. So I think 45% of the PRs that were issued to international students were actually to students who graduated from Ontario. So generally, Ontario tends to be a very popular province where students tend to look for universities. Again, this is not too far from Toronto, and this university happens to be part of the U15. So for those who don't know, the U15 are Canada's most distinguished research universities, kind of similar to what the Russell Group is, I think, in the UK. And this university in particular has about 400 combinations of undergraduate, major, minor, and specializations. Coming in at number 9, we have again a university from Ontario. So Ontario is really ruling the top 10 according to our rankings. Again, this is Queen's University at Kingston, which is ranked 246 on the QS World Rankings, and it's the 9th highest ranked Canadian university. So Queen's is ranked 5th among medical doctoral universities in Canada, and 3rd for student satisfaction. It also has a reputation for leading edge physics, cancer research, geoengineering, data analytics, surveillance studies, social studies, and mental health research. So these are some of the areas where they really excel. So coming in last at number 10, we have University of Calgary, which is again located in Alberta. It's ranked 246 on the QS World Rankings, and this is the last and the final of the top 10, which we were covering today. This university, what I found really cool about Calgary is that apparently it's one of the younger universities. So it's less than 15 years old, and yet it's featuring amongst the top 10 Canadian universities and regular featuring in the QS ranking. So it really talks about how fast it's kind of moving forward. And I feel that from what I read on their website, it says that they have clear strategic direction to become one of Canada's top 5 research universities. And I think this is sort of the reason why probably it is moving really fast to being such a popular university for students. So I'm just going to cover maybe a few more universities. So these are not in the top 10 necessarily ranked in Canada, but these do always feature to be top universities for students. And I'll try to give you guys a couple of fun facts about each one of them. So the first one is University of Ottawa. So again, this is the capital. For those who don't know, it's the capital of Canada's Ottawa. It's ranked 279th on US World Ranking. And like I said, this is the heart of. It's basically located in Canada's capital and the heart of the Canada's capital. So naturally, that would give you huge access to all sorts of institutions and resources which kind of shows in its employment rate for graduates, which is at almost 97%. They also are giving out almost $60 million per year in scholarships and grants, which I found quite fascinating. So those who are looking for scholarships, maybe this is the one to apply for. Another really popular university for students is Dalhousie University, which is located in Halifax, Nova Scotia, ranked as one of the friendliest cities in the world. Generally, I think these smaller cities do tend to be super student friendly, and students do generally end up, developing a love for the city. The last university which I kind of want to talk about is York. So York, obviously being another one of the universities which is located in Toronto, is I thought it would be important to cover York. It also has got a really popular business school, Shoreditch Business School, which is ranked first in Canada according to many rankings like Forbes. 94% of York grads get jobs within 2 years. Interesting fact. I just think that always targeting the main cities, I think, is always a great idea. Though it means that it might be more expensive to maybe study there because your living expenses are higher. But at the same time, I feel the access to, especially for postgraduate students, because they're kind of looking to get employed right after. So I think in that sense, being and kind of studying within the big city and kind of networking there during the time over there is. And then immediately working in the same city right after is truly priceless. So I think I'm just going to end now. I think so. We covered the top 10. We covered a few of the other universities which I feel are also should be ranked, very very highly, and they generally do consistently show up in the top 10 rankings. I think that's about it. That's all I wanted to kind of share for today. Thank you for joining us for this session of Leverage TV. We'll be back tomorrow again. Please do join us. Thank you. Bye-bye.